Okay, so we're going to talk about how to create your logo. So right now I'm using Canva and I'm going to the logo, um, I'm just typing in logo. I'm going to see what their options are, what it looks like. So it looks like a lot of theirs, they're going to have a ton of options, things that you may or may not be interested in. So you can pick one of these as like an idea, or you can start completely from scratch. So this is kind of what theirs look like. This one's kind of cute, something like this. You could do something with your picture in it, however you want to do it. So for my logo that I have for my classroom, it has my picture in it. So I'm going to start with just a blank screen, and I'm going to add a circle frame. Because the TPT website uses a circle as the logo thing. And then you can add your, I think it's under upload, yep, your images. Let's see. I don't know if I have an image. Here's one of myself. We'll pretend this is going to be my logo. And then, so you add your picture. You can add other elements such as like a line. So somewhere on your logo, you're gonna want your store name on it. So I'm gonna use this line. Let's see. I actually created mine on Google Slides. So I don't have a ton of practice using Canva specifically for this. I have used Canva a lot, but not specifically for creating a logo. Anyways, there's all kinds of lines and shapes that you can use. I'm trying to find one that will go at the bottom. I can try this one. We'll go with this, and then I will cut it off the edges. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's pretend that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go with this color, and then you can add your, whoops, you can add your text. So my store is called Growing Up Gaskell. I don't know where I came up with that. It sounded good and I went with it. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but you can always, however you want to represent your store. And so this font is always like stood out to me. It's called Brittany. It's super cute. Okay. Growing Up Gaskell, like that. So here's one way you can do it. You can even like adjust the transparency of your little line that you have there. So this particular like photo colors takes the elements from the picture or the colors from your photo and uses it as your like a palette. So all these colors are the colors that are identified in my photo. So they're typically the ones that are going to match the best, even though you can use your own. So I would download this and save it as a PNG. And after I download it and upload it to Teacher Pay Teacher, it will actually cut off right around the circle. So even this extra that's out here is no big deal because it's going to cut it off. You can use this picture on your products. You can use it on your store. You can use it on your Facebook for advertising, however you want to do it. You don't have to include your picture. You can include your picture. It's all up to you. It's completely customizable. So have fun with it and ask a friend for opinions. If you would like to use your logo without the extra around the sides, you can always go to the crop setting on Google Slides and do a circle. So crop, shapes, circle, and it will cut it off just like that. So now it is cropped on the sides. So this image can be copied and pasted into your products. For example, here's my old store, like my very first one when I started. And I can do the same thing to it. So I click on the picture, crop, circle, and I can square it up a little bit because it is not square, and make it into a circle. I think when I created this one, I did a square version and a circular version. I definitely, now that I have used Canva to create a logo, I definitely recommend using Canva. It looks much more professional, much cleaner, and it has a much cuter design. So I definitely recommend getting a Canva account and using Canva for your logo. It looks really, really good. I'm impressed with how good of the quality it is. So yeah, if again, that's crop, shapes, circle, and it will chop off anything that's over the edge, just like that. Okay, so when you're creating your listing, make sure that you are creating products that you would use in your own classroom. Most of the time, people are not going to use something that you don't use. Teachers typically need some of the same resources. So your goal when you're creating a product is, how am I going to use this in my classroom? Most of the time when I'm creating a product, it is something for my classroom. I make it on my own time, so technically the school doesn't like own my resource that I've created. And I use it with my students. I refine it, get the kinks out, any typos, and then I post it on Teacher Pay Teacher. And that's typically how I go about creating products. You'll find that if you are just being like, here's an idea, let's create it, and you have no purpose behind it, a lot of times you can get burnt out or start something and then have no motivation to finish it. There are some people who quit their full-time teaching jobs to work for Teacher Pay Teacher, as in like creating, like doing their store, and they make more than I make in a year being a teacher. So it's definitely possible to make a lot of money on Teacher Pay Teacher and to like that be your sole source of income. It's possible. Second, be original. Don't try to copy other teachers or other sellers. So this one's really big. If you search for file folders, or I don't know why that one keeps coming to mind. Let me think of a different one. Vocational job skill vocabulary. Let's try that. So if you search that, you may find 5 products that are all the same or all similar because teachers copy other teachers, and that's not okay. You're going to be most marketable and your store is going to be most unique when you create things that no one else has made, or it's a version that may be a similar concept, but it's not the same thing. So that's what we're looking for that's what I look for as a seller, as a buyer, when I go to Teacher Pay Teacher to buy something. Third, you're gonna wanna save your product as a secure PDF so that it cannot be manipulated or changed unless the product you're marketing is editable. So for instance, I have a teacher planner that I sell on Teacher Pay Teacher, and I want people to be able to edit it. So I have it marketed as editable on Google Slides. So it's like, for that kind of thing, you want teachers to be able to edit it because you want it to fit their needs. But on a unit or worksheet or anything like that, you're not gonna want them to change your product, because one thing that can happen is they can change it, take out your like logo, and they can turn around and resell it, and that's not cool.
More information on what kind of products to list can be found on the Teacher Pay Teacher website linked in this slide.
Okay, I'm going to show you guys the technicality of how to create a listing. So this is what happens when I first pull up my Teacher Pay Teacher page. This is the home page where I see the work of the authors that I follow. I will go to my product listings and do add new product. From here you will select, is it a file from Google Drive, a video file from your computer, or a file from your computer, like a PDF or something from your computer. So I'm going to click that one. Here's where you're going to put in your title. You would upload the file, and then you would put in your preview. On this one you can do a PDF or a picture preview, and then you can also do a video preview. We will talk more about that on a future slide. You can do upload thumbnails now, and this is where you'd put your main color and then 3 pictures that are going to post on your initial listing that people will be able to flip through to see what your product is and decide if they're interested. Here in the description, you can use bold, italics, underlines, bullet points. You can number it. You can also link. So a lot of people in their description will put, for more products like this, check out my blah blah blah, and they would link the Teacher Pay Teacher store link to their description, so that when you click on it, it takes you to another listing. Here, if it's free, you're going to click free. Otherwise, you're going to put your price in, your tax code. So most of the time it's going to be a digital, other digital goods, no physical media, depending on what you're uploading. Here you can select up to 4 grades, or you can do not grade specific. A lot of times if you select certain grades and somebody chooses to like weed out or do a filter so they only want to see things for 5th grade, then if you had chosen 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th would not be in there, and so you could miss out on that sale, even though your product is appropriate for a 5th grader. So make sure that you do think of that when you're posting products. If it is for 4th grade or is specifically for 5th grade, then go ahead and click that, because that's your target audience. Otherwise, you can do not grade specific. You can choose one, so let's say 5th grade. We can choose different subjects. There's all different kinds of subjects and what you might see in that grade level. You would do your resource type. Most of these you can put like for parents. You can do fun, Google Apps, handouts, homework, like whatever it is. And then your categories, you can create these categories within your store, and these are some of the categories that I use in my store. You can also enter your standards. You can put in how long it takes to teach it, your total pages or slides, and you can do if there's an answer key included. And this part's your copyright agreement, and then you want to click make product active and then create product. Once you create the product, it should look like this. So let's click on this one. This is what it'll look like. Ta-da! So that's what you'll want your products to look like, is something similar to that.
Most teachers, when they log on to Teacher Pay Teacher to find a resource, the first thing they think to themselves is, whatever I'm trying to do, let's say it's a solar system unit, it's just my kids aren't getting it, I need another resource. Or I have this idea for my solar system unit, but I don't want to make it myself. Let's see if TPT has something. So the person goes to TPT and they glance quickly at the first page, which has updates from people you're following. So if someone follows your store, then they see your products first on the very first like home page. So then they go to the search bar and they search solar system. They apply a few filters, maybe like a price range, standards, grade level, whatever that is. And they glance through the first 10 to 15 products. So the three things that they're looking at is a cover photo, a title, and the first few descriptions of sentences of a description. So in order to optimize your listing in Teacher Pay Teacher, so that it ranks as popular on Teacher Pay Teacher and shows up in those first 5 to 10 listings, you're gonna want to make sure that you use keywords and use titles that get people's attention. So for instance, if you're creating a geometry math packet for 5th graders, there's probably 100 geometry math packets for 5th graders. So you're gonna wanna make your listing stand out and optimize more effectively than the other person's. So don't be cute and clever when creating your title. You want to find out what's trending. You're gonna want to look, you can search like popular products on TPT to find out what words. So trending action can also be action words like interactive, editable, printable. I know that during the pandemic, when a lot of students were virtual and a lot of teachers were having to come up with digital resources, words like interactive and digital were super popular. You can also search for trends on Google, but the best place is on Pinterest, Facebook groups, hashtag searches on Instagram and Twitter, those sort of things. This isn't a requirement for posting something on Teacher Pay Teacher. If you want to post your geometry bundle, you can say geometry bundle and be done with it. But in order for your product to stand out amongst all of the other geometry bundles, you might want to use words like interactive notebook. That's really big right now. Or digital PowerPoint, or you could do digital interactive notebook. Anything like that, because you can do printable interactive notebooks and you can also do digital. So you're gonna want to find out what's trending, what's popular right now, what's something that you're hearing a lot in the education world that teachers are looking for. So your product needs to rank on TPT for keywords that teachers are searching. Your product cover needs to look good and needs to represent what you're selling. When I first started posting on Teacher Pay Teacher, I literally just took a screenshot of whatever worksheet or visual that I made and posted it. That is not how you get sales. It took a while for me to, I think part of the thing was I was like, if it's not on there, I don't have the opportunity to make a sale. So I'm like, I'm just gonna post it. And then I wouldn't go back and fix it. And it's a huge mistake to do that because people are not going to buy something that looks janky. They're not gonna buy something that looks like you just took a screenshot and threw it on there. Most of the time, your best selling items are gonna be things that have nice cover photos. And it also changes the aesthetic of your store. When people look at your store, they'll be like, oh, she's a TPT seller versus, oh, she's an amateur. She has no idea what she's doing. The title and first few sentences of your listing need to sell the product. Most of the time, people are not going to go through a whole description. They're going to look at the first few sentences and the title, and that's what's going to make your product stand out from someone else's. You can also utilize social media to promote your products and show pictures of others using them, or your students. I a lot of times will take pictures from behind my students, so I get like the back of their head while they're using the product, or I'll take a picture from up top so that I get the product, like I don't ever get their face is my point. I get like the back of their head and the top view of the product. And sometimes I will use that in my cover photos. You can post them on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I know there's a lot of TikTok stuff for teachers. I will say that a lot of that stuff can be very overwhelming. So pick one to start with. I personally choose Instagram. I feel like it's the easiest to post things, and people do a lot of scrolling and liking. So it definitely works out much better than, in my opinion, like Facebook and those sort of things. If you have a blog, you can promote on that as well. Again, if you don't have a blog, start out small. Start out with Instagram or just a blog or just Facebook, those sort of things. Pick whichever one you're most comfortable with and that you're most likely to stick to. I know with a blog, a lot of times people feel like they're expected to write a whole bunch of stuff in the blog and explain things. And as that can be good, it can also be like, you're like, I don't want to do that. You get really excited and get started and post like 3 blog posts and you're like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And so then you don't keep up with it. Pick whichever one you're going to keep up with and that you're going to use most regularly.